Okay, so this is
Hey.
super special. We have Pashmina Roshan, who has made her debut in Ishq Vishk Rebound, joining us for her first UK exclusive interview. So, Pashmina, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your debut.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much.
Right, okay, look, I have not seen Ishq Vishk, but I remember when the announcement was made, there was a lot of uh, perspectives actually given about Hrithik Roshan's cousin sort of making her debut. There was so much noise about that. But for you, amidst all of that, how did you kind of listen to your inner voice amidst what was being said about you at that time?
Um, I mean, the only way to do anything in life and in this field, I think, is to work hard, to put your head down and work hard, no matter what the voice and chatter is. It's not really, it will not help me give a good performance, right?
Mm,
If they're saying, "Oh my God, Pashmina is the most beautiful person in the world," or they're saying, "Oh my God," anything that they're saying, it's my focus is not meant to be there. My focus is meant to be on my work and how I can deliver 100% and how I can deliver a good performance, how I can uh, keep a set running, keep my director happy, keep the producer happy, and overall add to this product that everyone's working towards.
mm. So tell me a bit more about your character then, because obviously from what I've seen, it's obviously very glamorous. And I think as Ishq Vishk is, it's pretty much, a very rooted but yet slice of life on the college life as well. Obviously, it's a lot more ups in terms of the budget and the way the production values. Obviously, it's upped its game from the original film, which starred Shahid Kapoor. So, what was your experience like, sort of? Working on such a project, which is obviously glamorous, but yet also kind of rooted in essence.
Oh, that's such a lovely question. Honestly, I feel like set is the place that I'm most happy at. It feels like I don't know. Every time I'm on set and I have so much, there's so much responsibility. It's so hectic. There is so much work to do, but it still feels like Disneyland to me. It feels like the happiest place, and I feel like it's the you know what, I almost as if I don't belong any place more than I belong there. I mean, because it brings me so much happiness. So that being my first experience on my own set, like I have gone on sets before, uh, in my family productions. So I would go on the sets of Koi Mil Gaya and everything, and I would feel the same feeling there. But this time, this was my set. So everything that I faced, even the challenges, I faced it with this sense of like extreme happiness and this extreme excitement that, hey, I'm finally on my set. As for my character, she is quite different from what I am generally, and I've said this in like a couple of interviews, and I felt this when we were shooting as well. So I am the sort of person that, okay, without the negative connotation, I would call myself a people pleaser. So I am really, it's really hard for me to say no. It's really hard for me to assert my boundaries. And even if you've like seen the trailer of our film, Sania's character is completely opposite. She
Mm,
comes from like a little bit of a troubled family, and is really feisty, and it almost has a hard time hearing no. Where I have a hard time saying no, she has a hard time hearing no. And
mm,
that sort of character was, it was obviously challenging to play, but it was also sort of empowering because it is actually me that's giving, standing up for my, in a certain way. It is me doing these things, right? It's me embodying the character of Sanya. So I think I learned something from that character. I learned how to like assert boundaries. I sort of, obviously not in that extreme sense, but in a certain sense, I learned how to bring that essence in myself, where I do
mm,
not need to set myself on fire to keep other people warm, which is something I learned from the character of Sanya. What I also loved about her character is that she goes through this journey of
Mm.
being really troubled and you haven't seen the film, but I can tell, I can give you
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
spoilers,
it's okay.
right?
You can tell me. It's okay. I don't mind. Go on. Go ahead.
So she has an absent father, okay, and I think that plays out in her relationships as a young adult.
Mm,
And I what I loved about the journey for Sanya in particular was that she deals with um, that trauma in her life. She deals with the her father's absence through the course of the film.
mm,
Um, it plays out obviously in her relationship with Raghav and Sahir, but eventually she learns how to hold her own and has this coming of age of sorts, which I really found I found it really cool. And
mm,
I can't find the correct word to articulate it, but I'm also really grateful that she got that journey.
mm.
And I got to play that out from being really tormented and really like a child that throws tantrums to sort of realizing and coming together as an adult and seeing things as your own responsibility rather than being in effect and not being in cause. I really
Right.
like that about my character. Yes.
So beautifully articulated. And I think it's quite interesting that you've mentioned this because I feel like the Roshan brand of cinema, very honestly, and I've said this quite a few times, is that they've always championed this underdog spirit. We know where, for example, circumstances, situations might undermine an individual, but then they always come out and beat that. I mean, even if you look at Rakesh Roshan's works, I mean, they're a testament to that. I mean, whether it's Karan Arjun, Koila, Koi Mil Gaya, there's always these antagonistic dark forces that try to suppress what you would might assume or call a very powerless individual. Do you think somehow, I don't know if it's the universe or maybe the fact that you've grown up with such cinema, do you think that's also had an impact on perhaps why this role also has a bit of a kind of a coming of age of sorts for you and this whole idea or sensibilities coming to you as well?
I I don't know about that, but you know what I do really like about these characters that you've mentioned and the protagonists in Koi Mil Gaya or Koila is that despite being underdogs, okay, let's take the character of Rohit for example.
Hmm,
Despite being an underdog, despite falling and getting hit many times, it's that ability to like get up and
hmm,
not pity yourself, just keep going forward. Like that's what I really admire in these characters. It's empowering to me, and I see that in the character of Sanya too, because she's hurt, she's down, but she's not bogged down. She stands up, and maybe I think that is something I would aspire to be in life as well. So maybe you don't know, you do manifest things in your life unconsciously. So I don't know, if I don't think I've done this on purpose, but it might have happened.
hmm. Right. It's interesting though, isn't it? I think it's really fascinating because I mean, even with you as well, because I feel like, for example, when you've got obviously accessibility really helps when you are obviously belong to a film family. But I think going back to my first question that I asked you about all these opinions and how to focus on oneself at that point. For you as well as a person, do you feel like even though like you come from a film family and obviously you're related to very illustrious filmmakers and actors, do you kind of feel like there's also been that passion even more so for you to really prove your identity as Pashmina as an individual, not by who your familial ties are? Have you felt that as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the artists that the people in my family are, they're honestly, their work is legendary. And to be able to make that sort of work, that's a dream. I want to have that identity. So if you look at them, they're individuals. They're not just one unit. Obviously, yes, we're from one family, but everyone has their individual identity. And I want that as well for myself. That's what I crave. But it's a dream more than a pressure. And it's a dream that I will work towards. And it's a long way there, but but
Mm,
at least it's a way. So it's a way to some place.
mm.
Yes.
Acting is observation, right? And obviously, since you've grown up in that atmosphere, you've gone to sets of some of the most iconic films of Hindi cinema.
Hmm.
Um, what observations have really helped you as an actor? And what else do you think has really honed you or has really, I guess, tried to polish you? Because obviously you're still quite fresh. So obviously you're going to make mistakes, right? So
Hmm.
what would you say are the observations you've learned from?
Okay, so this comes in like two categories. You are asking such lovely questions. They're making me think. I love that. Uh, Okay, so I would say observation comes in two categories. One is as just basic observation of people as an actor, and this is a technique that almost all my teachers have given me, that you must keep your eyes and ears and everything open and observe the kind of people around you, because you never know where it'll where you can draw inspiration from what you've seen in your car on the road or at the train station. You can you can gather inspiration from anywhere. That's the best part of this job. So I used to have my teacher used to make us do this. We had a book, and every day we would have to like shadow one person and write down everything that you saw them do, and observe it, and then come in class and perform it out to people. It was a very weird thing to like admit aloud. But so funnily enough, when I got the audition for the character of Sanya, um, I I read the script 2 3 times, and I was just like, oh my god, this is like you, Ridhima. That's my best friend. I call
Mm,
her Timu. So I was just like, listen, there's some parts of the way she speaks. It's like you, and how like fearless she is. Obviously, not like in full essence, but so a lot of my character I've observed from her, and how sometimes she talks in like a little bit of a like little slangy way.
mm,
So there's that kind of observation, and then there's things that I've observed from like being on set and um, being around my father or Hrithik, or my uncle Rakesh ji, is that they are relentless in how they're relentless in their hard work, and they're relentless in how much they can improve from the previous time. So they want to be better and better and better. And
mm,
that comes with also seeing your faults, analyzing your faults. So they have a very analytical approach to things, not
mm,
just artistic. Yes, you have to like give your artistic side all free reign when it comes to creating the art. But once it's done, you need to analyze it, and you need to
mm.
see how you can grow from this. Because at the
Sure.
end of the day, it is also a business.
I'm
So
glad you mentioned business.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so this is what I try to like inculcate in myself even now when I watch my performances back. Again, I like to write. I'm the type of person that writes. So I've written down everything I need to work on. I've written down from the reviews what can be better, what cannot. It's one thing that I really want to do. I want to work hard and work harder towards getting better than what I was the previous time.
indeed. And
Hmm.
I think when we talk about sort of business, right? I think there was a point where, thanks to certain filmmakers who really sort of took the took the credit for launching like actors who belong to film families and giving them a platform. But I think what's happened is that sort of landscape is in a way changing. I think what's happening now, Pashmina, and I think, I don't know, please feel free to jump in. It almost feels like the debuts that are being created now are not just the larger than life, grandiose sort of films that basically present you in a show reel, but it actually tries to make it a bit more palatable and relatable. For example, we had a film called Maharaj,
Mm-hmm. The Junaid.
with Junaid sort of debuted in, which again was very hatke. It wasn't your stereotypical. I mean, even Archie's, to for example, I know people have had whatever opinions, but it's very distinct from, let's just say, how a Student of the Year is, right? So,
Mhm.
what do you think has really sort of caused or evoked a change in this template? And how comfortable are you with that change?
Um, I think that the way the audience is consuming cinema now has changed. The audience is also open to different kinds of stories. And with the onset of OTT platforms, um, we have so many kinds of scripts, so many kinds of genres that are getting center stage. So I think more the merrier, right? You don't want to just the audience doesn't want to see the same thing again and again. And for actors, it is so much fun to be able to perform different kinds of things and not feel like you're going to be stereotyped or viewed in a certain way. You can do anything and have all sorts of possibilities. So it's almost like your horizons have widened, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah, so I
Right.
think that's really cool that there are different types of um, artworks being presented, and I don't know if it's to make things more palatable or no. It's just new stories and new,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just new stories and new ways of telling them.
Hmm. And again, a little before and after kind of a situation. If we look, for example, I think even if we look at the lead heroines of all of Rakesh Roshan's films, of course, you had they were big stars at their time, so they obviously were exposed to a lifestyle that is not just restricted to what an arm insan would face. So they have seen that luxurious side, but because they've had that beginning, that initial humble beginnings of struggling and getting into auditions and reaching to that stage of stardom, I think they were able to use that as a reference point in playing these very strong ordinary characters and empowering those ordinary characters on the big screen.
But
Um, yeah, go on.
I can I can speak for myself. Everything that I've done till now, I have given an audition for.
Sure.
So I think that process is still on. I mean, I
Mm,
know that process is still on. Even for Ishq Vishk, I've had to give auditions. You have to give your rounds of auditions. You have to, like, no one is offering anyone anything on the table. Um,
right.
what is important is to have different sort of life experiences to be able to play that character. So for instance, if I've never seen how India is and I'm just like in my little bubble of Jew scheme, I'm not going
Yeah,
to be able to play that character. I have to
exactly.
expose myself to the rest of the world, and I have to go through that experience. And that, yes, that is formed in standing in line and getting to that audition room, yes, but it's also found in going and exploring your country, going and talking to different kinds
The
of,
interiors, exactly.
yes, 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 you have to, like, I mean, and we have such a beautiful country, it's so rich, it's so vibrant, and why not go and explore it, go and find out more about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that, because that's literally what my question was going to be actually, is
Yeah,
how have you sort of referenced your life experiences and
so
used
yeah, so basically when I was in school, I, again, like I said, I can't know anything by being in just June scheme. I was very, very sheltered. I was very sheltered. And after school, the point of colleges came up. Where do you want to go to college? And I started applying to universities abroad, very well knowing that somewhere inside, deep down, this is what I want to do. You can't lie to yourself. You know that you want to become an actor. And that sort of you have to like start thinking of it in at an early stage. So I, at that moment, I thought that if I go abroad and I study acting abroad, um, I'm not going to learn anything about my culture.
Hmm.
The whole point of acting classes was also not just that I I had these certain tools that my teacher would give us. It was also the kind of people I was meeting from every different state, from different cities, from different backgrounds, and interacting with them, learning about their life stories, them learning about me. It all adds a lot of value.
Yeah.
Just also just seeing how other people are struggling to get the same goal that you are. Your struggles are different, their struggles are different, and how, and just acknowledging that, seeing other people's hard work, seeing how someone might have it tough to even tell their parents that they want to be an actor. Just those small things, they really, really, they in even in the smallest and slightest way, I feel like they've helped me.
Hmm. Oh,
Mm.
beautiful. That is so beautiful. All right, look, I think we've only got time for one last question, but I'm gonna break it up into two, as I always do, because
Okay,
it's very interesting. I think number one is that
because
look,
then it becomes two questions.
it becomes don't tell the PR reps that. Right, okay. So look, I think when it comes to the career path you've chosen, I mean it's not an easy one for sure. I mean, there is a lot of pressure that's there to deliver, to prove not only to others but yourself of your craft and how good you are. So I think, how prepared are you on this journey of acting in terms of dealing with speed bumps, dealing with, I don't want to use the word failure because it's a very harsh word, but setbacks, so to speak. How prepared are you for that? And the second part of the question is, I think going after Ishq Vishk, what sort of role are you looking forward to do? And is there anything that we can look forward to after Ishq Vishk?
Okay, so I feel like even to get to a release, for me, I have faced a lot of rejection. I have faced a lot of setbacks, a lot of projects that were just happening, and they just slipped out of my hand. So I think patience has been developed. Been able to develop patience because I've had no other choice. If I have had to persist for so long, um, even to get my first project and have that release, I've only been able to do it because I have been patient, and I've understood that sometimes it's a bigger vision. It's not just about you. It's a bigger vision that you need to be able to fit into. So I know
Mhm.
it's difficult. I know it's difficult, when setbacks happen, when you're not cast in a project that you really want, it's very difficult. But there is only, I know that there's a way forward.
Mm.
And I know that I can't take it too personally. Um, and for the kind of role I would want to do, I would really want to like work with Zoya Akhtar, or B, do something like a Razi or Lafata Ladies, something that's female driven and really, really empowering to women. I would love to do something like that. I would love to be part of something like that.
Oh, well, I hope that happens for you. Let's manifest that through this interview today, that happens. But
Yes.
honestly, Pashmina, thank you so much for joining me on Film Shilmy. It's been such a pleasure to have you and to host your first UK exclusive. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving us
you so
honor
much.
as well.
Thank you so much for these questions. They were really, really thought provoking.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, look, I can't wait to see more great work from you and hopefully catch up with you super soon again for your next
Yes.
project. So thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.